Love is an open door. Or is it? You know, I've been thinking a lot about doors lately. Locked doors, open doors, doors that get closed unexpectedly. Instagram, I'm getting really mad. I don't like that. You know I hate it when that closes, but that's okay. I'll just keep going. I don't give up. And you know, neither does my son. In fact, the other night, I'm telling you, 11-year-old boys, not for the faint of heart, not for those who trigger easily. And I mean, my son, he's persistent. He's committed to his goals. Sometimes his goals really clash with mine. Sometimes his priorities really clash with mine. I mean, parents, can you raise your hand here on this? I mean, sometimes kids just drive you up the wall. And one of my methods when I am severely, severely triggered by my son, and sometimes he gets quite violent, and he's bigger than me now and way stronger. I think he weighs like twice as much as I do. Or at the very least, probably a good 60 pounds on me, which is almost half as much as I weigh. And it's really hard to enforce rules with a kid that can probably do a lot of damage in his rage. And my son's got a temper. I mean, he learned a lot of this behavior. I mean, his dad's working on himself, but I mean, for 8 years, my son was in a very volatile situation where his dad would use violence and anger and throwing things and throwing his weight around. He'd yell, he'd scream, he'd tell me to shut up, and he would bully me, and my son saw that. And he also saw the silent treatment. So, okay, my son is afraid of authority coming down on him. My son is also afraid of being abandoned, basically, being ignored. Well, I have to enforce rules sometimes. And I try to do it in the most calmest way possible, but it still triggers him. And there comes a point where he gets too violent, too aggressive in his communication, and I'm like, time out. I gotta go into the other room. And you know, funny thing, even when he's telling me to shut up, to go away, to leave him alone, the second I'm like, okay, I'm going into the bedroom, I'm gonna cool off, he suddenly flies into the other one. No, Mom, don't leave me. I'm sorry. And the old me would have felt really guilty about what I have to do next. The new me, the one that really understands my triggers, knows that unlocking that door when I am frustrated or when he is still in that state of overwhelm is not going to be good. He's either going to attack me or he's going to bypass me and take it out on his sister. I mean, this kid has been through a lot, and I'm not going to let that happen. I have to protect my child from himself sometimes, and that often means distance. I have to let my son sit on the other side of a door that I have closed and locked. And I won't let him in. I won't open that door. And he gets impatient with me. He's like, when are you going to open the door? And he starts banging on it again. He's like, when are you going to open the door? Open the door. Open the door. And I'm like, Hunter, sorry, buddy. I'm not opening that door. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. But I know he's going to do it again. I mean, I know he's not in any position to reason with right now, and I know exactly what's going to happen. I open that door, he's going to keep doing the same behavior. He's going to keep hurting me. But even in that, the worst one is when I am so angry with him and so frustrated that he keeps banging on that door, or he has said something that I need to calm down. Scorpio, remember? So there comes a point where I don't see my little boy anymore. I see every bully who has ever bullied me. Except I'm not weak anymore. I'm not helpless. I will fight back. I don't want to fight my boy. He's just an overgrown kid. He needs support. So I keep the door closed. Sometimes all night. I'm like, I'm going to give you a hug, and I'm going to bed, and I'm locking the door. You're not coming in tonight. I need space. And that's the thing about love. When you truly love someone and you're angry, and you know that you're going to say something harsh that you're going to regret, sometimes you got to have that distance. And other times, if you leave the door open, even when you know that it's going to hurt you, you know it's going to happen. So doors have a utility. They really do. I mean, a lot of people think that love is just an open door. So mom's door always needs to be open. It can't be closed. It can't be locked. If she locks it, she doesn't love her kids. Or maybe mom needs some space and a breather so she doesn't take it out on her kids. Maybe that's what's really going on. If I leave my door open and the noise is getting to me, I'm going to start screaming. And if his sister's in the room, and I know that he's going to bypass me and go and aggravate her, no, that door needs to stay closed, and I'm going to protect him from himself, and I'm going to protect his sister. I'm going to lock the door. And a lot of people call it boundaries. Some misunderstand boundaries. But I mean, today, my daughter does this. Like, we actually share a room. So this is a little problematic of what she does. But she'll lock the door on me and kick me out of my own room. That's not allowed. She's not allowed to lock the door on mommy and keep her out of the room. Because I need to get into my bedroom. But today she was really mad at me. I don't know what I said. Like, I picked her up from school and she'd seen somebody that she liked, and I guess I teased her, and she wasn't in the mood to be teased, and she took it the wrong way, and she's 8, and she threw a fit, and I'm trying to apologize to her because I really didn't mean anything by it, and she's like, no, just leave me alone. Go away. I'm mad at you. And rather than chase after her, again, I'm like, you know what? I don't need to be in that room right this second. I really don't. I kind of need to clean the house anyway. So I let her lock the bedroom door, and she eventually did let me back in the room. If I really wanted to, I'd pick the lock. But, you know. Anyway, I'm getting really fed up with Instagram. Like, seriously, this cutting in and out thing is not making me happy. But I will not be stopped. Because this is important to understand. If somebody's blocked you, or they're keeping their distance, or they're not reaching out right away, you need to let go of any thoughts that it's just you. If you have cleaned up your side, this is the key. You need to have cleaned up your side, knowing that you came from a place of love. If you came from a place of love, then, and you know that, and your door's open, then let them cool off. Because you don't know what they're dealing with on the other side of that door. You can make up a story that they're just going to stay mad at you forever and that door is never going to get unlocked. I mean, my son probably makes up that story based on the trauma that he's had, where it was sometimes days where his dad wouldn't talk to him. And he was just little. I mean, that's hard for a little boy. I don't do that, but sometimes the trauma isn't even about what you did, it's what somebody else did. It's about a pattern that somebody has picked up on. So even if they're not doing it out of malice, if they're doing it just to take care of themselves, if you haven't taken care of your triggers and recognized that this is me, this is my stuff, then it's kind of hard. I mean, my son, I have to keep reminding him, it's like, honey, I just need some space. I just need some time. I need to calm down. I don't want to lash out at you right now. And right now you are looking like the enemy, kid. Like you are throwing fire at me, like in a horrible way. You are threatening me. You are calling me names. You are dismissing everything I have to say. I'm telling you that I want you to do this thing because it's part of the household rules, and you're shrugging it off like my rules mean nothing. I'm sorry, you are not equal to me. When you're all grown up, yes. But right now I'm mom. And I'm saying it's time for you to get off that game because I need quiet now. And you don't get to negotiate those rules. And the pushback is confronting. Because he's doing the same exact pattern that a lot of people did to me. It was like, well, what are you going to do? You're tiny. You're short. You're tiny. You're weak. All I have to do is get all big and strong and push you around and you can just deal with it. I'm just going to do what I want. What are you going to do? You can't even pick me up anymore. I'm too big. I'll just punch you. Like, that is the attitude. And it's like, kid, if I try to spend time with you right now and try to comfort you in your upset, I'm not there. It'll just be my body holding you, but I will not be present. I will be triggered as hell, and I will be mad at you the whole time, and I will be resenting you, and I don't want that. So would you please stop banging on the goddamn door because your sister is trying to sleep? And I'm trying to get calm so I can be better for you. I'm trying to regroup behind this door. And the same thing like when I closed off the door to other people in my life right now. It's like, look, I just want to see that the behavior's changed. Like, not all doors to me are blocked. There's people they can get into connection with, and they can pass on messages. I mean, I have Carly Uncensored for a reason. It's for the family members that either they've blocked me or I've blocked them. They think that I have some sort of malice, but I don't. And then there's the ones that think that I blocked them because I hate them, and I don't. Honestly, I'm just living my life. And I tell my son, it's like, hey, on the other side of the door, I'm just doing my own thing. I'm not thinking I hate you or anything, kid. I just need some time. Okay? You're still okay. And eventually I do open the door and I go and I give him a hug. But not until he's calm and I can trust that he's not going to get violent and rude. It's like, if there's a behavior that's hurting you and you know that you don't want to keep playing that game, that toxic pattern, you just walk away. Then they have to live with it themselves. I mean, I did this even when I left my ex. I'm like, you know what? I don't have to deal with his craziness anymore. The things that he does that are really harmful, it's not my circus anymore. He can do his thing. I mean, sometimes he's like, sometimes it affects us, and I create contingency plans around that. And I have very strong boundaries, and I know what I will and will not accept. It took a while for me to get to that point. Sometimes a closed door is necessary when you're working through a lot of stuff. I mean, there's sometimes things that I have to work through that are going to take a few days. Of course, now I learned to let people know about that before I go AWOL. Because, sometimes people, if they aren't aware that I'm just taking care of myself, they tend to get anxious. They tend to get worried. My son just wants to know that mommy loves him and that I'm okay. Especially if he realizes that he hurt me. He probably wants to know that I'm okay. So I'm willing to say, hey, I'm okay. My door's open. Or I'll come back when I feel like I can handle it. But right now I'm hurting and I need to take space. Or right now it doesn't seem like you can do what I'm asking, and that's okay. Go take care of yourself. I love you. And, when you're ready, you're ready. When you're ready to step up to my level and be in connection with me in the way that I deserve to be in connection with, then yeah. I won't let my son in that door as long as he keeps calling me names. It's not happening. It's like, you're going to keep calling mom a bitch, she's not going to hang out with you. When you stop calling mom a bitch and you're willing to listen to what I have to say and actually follow my rules, then I'll open the door and we can discuss it. But not while you're doing that, kid. Just not happening. Love can sometimes just be a closed door, and I'm happy to let people keep a door closed if they need to keep it closed until they're ready. I'm not going to keep banging on the door. I'll try for a little while, but sometimes there's a window. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to bang on the door. I'm not going to put pressure on anybody. I'm just going to have the window. My son knows that if he really needed to get into connection with me, I would open the door. If he truly needed to. Like, if there was a serious emergency, that door would be open. And I would take the necessary action. But if he faked something, and I can tell the difference between, like, real and fake tears, too. So, usually when he gets into his emotional states and he starts throwing his tantrums, I'm just sitting behind the door and I'm letting him throw his tantrum. First of all, if I get involved in that tantrum, it's going to reinforce the behavior that I don't want. And, it's a process. When you're trying to retrain a kid that has had 8 years of that, can you just imagine what it's like if somebody is like, 80? And they kept doing a suboptimal pattern and you're like, I'm not happy with this and we need to do a new way. And you tell them and then they keep doing it. And you're like, okay, I have to put a stronger boundary. I didn't want to have to do this. And I have to because I got to protect my own. I got to protect me. And this pattern is hurting. So, pattern done. Now, are they going to learn it? I don't know. But there's always a window and there's always some door. You just have to be the right kind of person to get through it. Which means you might have to let go of an old pattern that is causing problems. Or you might have to make a deeper commitment for the door to be open. And there's some people that are worth keeping the door open for because they've got their door closed on their side, and it's like, okay, well, as long as their door is closed and as long as it's still locked, I'm not going to bang on it. They're not ready. But when they're ready, and maybe they're just standing at the door and they keep trying to open it, and then like, I don't know if I should. I don't know what's on the other side. Well, for some people, what's on the other side is my love. I mean, my doors aren't locked. Not to everybody. Or there's always one door open. I mean, there's some people that have my text messages and they send me a text and I will send them a text back and I'll say, yeah. But I'm not going to go... I'm always testing. I'm testing to see if the person who knocked on that door is the same version or if it's somebody who has learned and is stuck. If someone's different than when they first knocked on the door or when I had to shut the door, I let them in. And the same thing with my son. He will say, I'm sorry, constantly. It's like his go-to. I'm sorry, Mom. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't want I'm sorry. What do I want? Changed behavior. Uh-huh. Where's the behavior change? Well, you bitch. Really, kid? So because you said you're sorry, but you're still asking for the thing that I already said no to, and then your reaction is still, you bitch. No. That wasn't an apology. I was trying to manipulate mommy into just giving in, and then the second I give in, you ask for it. No. Now, if you ask and I say no, and you're calm, and you're like, okay, it's a no right now. It's a no. I can accept the no. But not call me a bitch? Well, then maybe I might reconsider my no. Or I'll negotiate the no. Maybe. Depends on what the kid's asking for. I mean, sometimes he asks for things, I'm like, no, it's a no. Like, you're not staying up until midnight playing video games. Especially since his video games are not quiet video games. They are video games where he's on a headset. No! No, I said 10 o'clock off. And you're on still and it's 11 o'clock. No, I'm taking the damn computer away. I'm taking the headset away. It's lights out. Like, no. But other things, other times, I can be negotiated with. That's true for anyone. So if you're having issues with someone, and the version of them that keeps knocking on the door is the same big bad wolf, in a lot of ways, it's the same wolf, keeps like, knocked on the little pig's door, little pig, let me in. Nope. Okay, well, I'm blowing your house in. Okay, I'm going to the next house where you and your brother are. Okay, I'm going to blow down that house too. To get to this brick house, doesn't blow down. Wolf tries to climb down the chimney. He's got ill intentions. Those pigs are prepared. They boil that wolf alive in some versions of the tale. He doesn't just shoot right back up the chimney like in some of the cartoons. No, they boil that wolf alive. So, yeah, don't be the big bad wolf. If you knock on the door and the little pigs are like, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin, and you have ill intentions, and you blow the house down, prepare to get cooked. It's the way it is. When you have strong boundaries, nobody messes with you anymore. They know you're serious. I'm serious. I will let people through a door as long as I know that they love me and support me. And as long as they're going to be the version of themselves that deserves to be through that door. But then there's other doors to deeper connection with me. I mean, my life is like, access to me is like a giant luxury resort hotel. And there are doors that, like, you can see the beautiful hotel, and the doors are open to the main lobby, and you can hang out, and you can have, like, drinks and stuff, and you can just enjoy. But then there's locked doors, VIP doors. You don't get in without a key. doors. There might be some that you can kind of see from the outside and you kind of know that that's the VIP lounge and you'd have to get special permission to get in that room. And it might be like, how do I get in that room? Well, here are the requirements to get in that room. And then there's one room that's completely off limits to all except one person. And then there's a room that's completely locked off to everyone but me. And I get to decide what I take out of that room that just belongs to me. Nobody gets to pull out things without my permission. If they do, well, you lose VIP status and you might even lose access to the entire resort hotel. And that's the lesson that I want my kid to learn. First of all, he's a boy. That kid needs to learn consent. Can we agree that consent is something that young boys really need to learn? Can we also agree that not only is consent important, but also little boys need to learn that they can't just bully their moms when they get to a certain age to get mom to give in or to emotionally manipulate through tears? Because then what's he going to do to his partner? Come on, you know. You know what that does. And I'm not willing to let my children be the kind of people who do that to others. I want my son to be the kind of man when he grows up who takes a no as a no and either becomes the kind of man that is meant to have access if it's something that it's like, it's not a no forever. It's a no because this version of you isn't what I need right now. There's something that kind of is like, no, I don't want that energy. Like, I don't want my future daughter-in-law to hate me, to be honest. And being an enabling mother would cause my future daughter-in-law to really hate me. So I'm standing for her too. So if a version of this video is around in the future and my future daughter-in-law is watching, I just want to let you know I did the best I could. And if I screwed up along the way, I'm sorry. I really did the best I could. I had the best intentions. Or maybe my son is like really awesome. And she's thanking me right now. She's like, oh my God, you did so much with that kid. Like, he's just the most amazing man. I mean, we're not perfect though. We all have our little crazies. So, whatever little crazies my kids have, at least I know one thing. I am doing the best damn job that I can possibly do with the tools that I have, and I keep learning. And I'm willing to hold boundaries, and I'm willing to lock doors, and I'm teaching them that they are in charge of their own doors. Nobody is allowed to trespass on that either. It's all you can really do as a mom, to be honest. You get to decide on the energy that you're giving out every day. You don't have to put up with people calling you names, even if it's your own kid. You can hold a loving boundary. I just showed you how to do it. Okay? And if you ever have any questions, my door is always open. Especially for a mom in need. A mom who's looking for guidance. I mean, name of my empire, if I call it that, because that's what it's going to become. I mean, in the future, it's pretty epic. So I don't know when this video comes across your feed or if you find it in the archives. My door is always open. It's empowering moms for a reason. So I'm empowering moms. When you have full reverence and love for your kids, and you have the strong boundaries and love for yourself, that's when you become a real badass mom. Or badass dad if it's dad watching. So, anyway, that's all I have tonight. I've got an epic day tomorrow. I'm so excited. It's going to be fun. I get to see my adopted dad. I get to see some friends and my adopted grandpa. And, yeah, we're going to have fun. I'm probably going to have a lot more insights tomorrow. And I hope you have a good weekend as well. And I love you. Namaste. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.